So, goth culture now is very political and specifically left-leaning.
This video has found its way into my inbox and you've tagged me in the comments. Clearly you want me to weigh in, but who am I to make any sort of commentary on the goth subculture? My name is Angela Benedict. I have a YouTube channel where I discuss the goth subculture, help baby bats, talk about my experiences in the subculture. I am 45 years old. I've been involved in alternative subculture since 1994. I've been a goth since 1995, meaning that I have been a goth for 30 years. Forbidden math. Countercultures have always been left-leaning. They've historically have always been left-leaning. As far as goths becoming more political within the last 10 years is two global events had taken place in the last 9 years. 2016, we had Brexit and we had MAGA, and these are two things that have fundamentally changed the world on a global scale. So naturally, everybody became a lot more vocal about not just politics, but their views in general about the way that the world was going. Something else important to note that happened in 2016 is the inception of TikTok. So with the inception of TikTok, it gave many people a platform to express such views, including goths. First, let's talk about the positives. Credit where credit is due. I will give you props for actually citing musical sources to illustrate your point, because goth, first and foremost, was and will always be a music-based subculture. Something that I would also say that I agree with you on, I do not believe that goth is a politically based subculture. This is something that is a little more nuanced, so I'm going to kind of elaborate on that, but I do not believe it is politically based. However, a problematic statement that you made is by saying that it is an oxymoron to state that I am goth and I am political. Why? We're not a hive mind. We're not like carbon copies of one another. Just because we are all part of this subculture doesn't mean that we all share a brain. We're all each our own individual human being. We have ideas, we have beliefs, we come from different walks of life. So just being a goth doesn't mean that we forego the right to have a say in who makes decisions that affect us and the people that we care about. As a goth, I'm here to correct you and say it is categorically false to say that it is an oxymoron to say I am goth and I am political. So let's talk about the four sources that you cited. You cited Patricia Morrison, Susie Sue, Peter Murphy, and Roz Williams. Those four sources you cited lived through a period in history where they were counterculture into the frickin' bowels of satanic panic. I mean, they were treated like shit by society, by the church, by authority figures, by the government. So they wanted absolutely no part of labels or anything that has to do with the very people who are oppressing them. They want no part of. Just because they didn't want any part of the politics of their oppressors, those pieces of shit over there that were telling them that they were subhuman and telling society and the world to hate them, it doesn't mean that they didn't have worldviews. It didn't mean that they didn't have core values. It didn't mean that they didn't have empathy or beliefs. It just meant that they didn't want any part of the mainstream